بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على محمد وآل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. السلام عليكم dear respected viewers ورحمة الله وبركاته. And السلام عليكم dear Sheikhna. How are you, Sheikhna?
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, once again we are joined by the esteemed Sheikh Massoumian, and inshallah we are here to be blessed with more of his wisdom after we send our salutations to the Imam of our time. So join us after the salutation. Assalamu alayka ya sahib al-zaman, assalamu alayka ya sharik al-Quran, assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sheikh, in the last episode we talked about maraja. We discovered that there's many disagreements. We see in today's society there's many disagreements between the ummah. Blood is being shed daily. We look at Burma, for example, and we see, for example, in one of the narrations where it says the blood will reach up to our knees, and in places like that, the blood has reached the knees of the people. Do these signs mean that the Imam is going to reappear now? What signs are we looking out for exactly?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على محمد وآل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين ورحمة الله أعداءهم أجمعين نلعن لا قيام يوم الدين. You know, you said with regards to the blood reaching here,
Yeah.
and as soon as you said that, I remember a friend of mine in Najaf. He said when we were imprisoned in Saddam's time, he said they did this and they did punishment, and he said one of the punishments is they made me sit on a broken bottle. He said on a bottle it was, it's painful, but it was on a broken bottle. He said all I felt was that the entire ground of the prison became full of blood. He said I don't know how much blood had come from me, but the entire floor was full of blood, and I think he said I lost consciousness, and then I came to, and so forth. So we've seen injustices time and over time and time again by tyrants, and tyrants have existed from the time of Adam alayhi salam.
Yeah.
We have two sons from Adam alayhi salam, one killing the other, Qabil killing Habil.
Yeah.
That's tyranny and that's dhulm. We'll come down to the time of Islam. We have the Prophet being murdered by those who are supposed to be the closest to him. We have Fatima Zahra salamullah. We have Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam. Every one of them martyred in a worst fashion possible. And then we have Imam Hussein alayhi salam, Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salam. So these are all injustices that have happened, and blood has been shed of the Massoumian. One of the signs of Akhir Zaman is that the Mazlumeen will be killed for no reason, or the good people. And in fact, I think in some hadith we have that in any land where injustice occurs and blood is shed of a person who is innocent, then bala and atrocities will occur in that place. And we see this happening in many places. Now, with regards to the signs of Akhir Zaman, there are many signs. In some narrations, we have that there are signs that will definitely happen, and there are signs that may happen. Now, I don't want to go into the details of this hadith. The reason I don't want to go into this hadith is many people use these hadith, especially the weaker ones, in their own advantage, to gain some sort of power, to have some sort of army, to have people fight for them, for their dunya, not for their akhirah, but they'll show as if it's akhirah, but truly it's for dunya, for their political gains. And they'll use the hadith, if you want to go to heaven, if you want to then you fight with me, or you do this, or you give me your money, or you give me your life, and so forth. Everybody that exists until the time of the Imam himself will be fallible, will make mistakes. Everybody that claims that they have a direct relationship with the Imam, they see them and their words are from the Imam, are liars. Then unless there are certain attributes towards those, which is very rare, if not never happens, especially in our time. So all those that claim, they see the Imam, they go behind him, this is all lies. Many of the stories of Mr. X and Sayyid and Sheikh and Maulana and so forth, all lies. They're made after the person is dead, not the time they're alive. And there's no point going towards those anyway. I mean, what is it that you're trying to benefit? Imagine this person did see Imam, so what? You know, the hadith of how you should live your life, the laws of Islam is put down in black and white.
Definitely.
Speak to the Imam and see what the Imam wants. Why are you chasing someone that may or may not have seen the Imam? Dreams are not hujjah, they're not something that you need to act upon. Doesn't matter how vivid the dream is, how beautiful it is, how great it is, how many times it occurred. It's a dream.
Yeah.
Pay sadaqah, good. Pray on time, good. Everything that's mustahab and wajib, do. Haram, stay away from. If that's what the dream is telling you, good. Otherwise, there's no compulsion to act upon it. So there are certain things that one needs to be careful not to fall into the trap of those people that are misguided in the time of the Imam.
Sorry, I apologize. It's just because you mentioned this all, and things we do see today, that many have even made armies based on the fact of there are narrations that suggest that the army of the Imam will start from this specific place and it will go in this direction. How do you know if they are true or false? Because many people, a lot of people, even some major scholars will shout Akhir al-Zaman is very close, and then we see a person like this coming. So how do we distinguish falsehood from truth?
See, two things. First of all, Akhir al-Zaman. We have riwayat about Akhir al-Zaman.
Yeah.
And I'll recite some of those riwayat in a second.
Inshallah.
But who tells you how long Akhir al-Zaman is? Akhir al-Zaman be 10,000 years. We may be in Akhir al-Zaman, but it may last another 10,000 years. So who says that you should walk after behind Mr. X?
Yeah.
So Akhir Zaman is not a specific time that what only 6 months it means. If you're in Akhir Zaman, there's only 6 months left. No. Akhir Zaman, no one knows how long it is. So even if all the rawayat that say this will happen have already happened, doesn't mean that the dhuhr is tomorrow. We don't know how long Akhir Zaman is. Definitely. Even if we agree that to now is Akhir Zaman. That's one thing. Second thing is, we have to be, the hadith says, I think I've mentioned this book before, Al-Lum'a, which is a fiqh book, but it mentions some hadith that are to do with this, with regards, I think, the book of zakat, when it talks about how much zakat you should give of ibil, which is camel.
Yeah.
And the hadith says from the Imam, Kun mathal ibn al-labun. Ibn al-labun is a type of camel that is not old enough to give milk, they can't take milk from it. It doesn't have much skin or wool to be shaved off, to be used to make clothes and things, because the skin of the camel is very good, the material is better than sheep and it's more expensive, but it doesn't have that. Also, it's too weak for you to ride it, because camel people ride. So the Imam says, be like them, that you cannot be used for what you have. They cannot sit on you and use you or take what you have. And unfortunately, many of the mu'mineen, because of their simplicity, they are taken for a ride. And the Imam basically is trying to say, don't get taken for a ride, and then be careful. Al-mu'minu kayyis, al-mu'min should be clever, should know what's going on around him,
Definitely.
Should not be blinded by people around him. So those things to remember. One of the things that I want to mention in this show, inshallah, is that the Imam comes with miracles. And the miracles are not just for whilst he's out of hiding and he's ruling the world. No, it's now as well.
Okay.
One of the ones that was documented not long ago, in the last few years, it's a long story. I'll try and make it brief as possible.
Should we go on that story,
Sure.
inshallah, after the nasheed, inshallah?
Sure, why not?
So if you want to hear the story, and I think I'm excited myself, we're going to have to wait and make sure you do tune in after the nasheed, inshallah.
اگه آقامون نیومد نذاریم دلا بمیره انتظار مهدی امروز همه حرف قدیره اگه روشو نمیبینی گلی از باد نمیچینی بیا لااقل بریم تا سر راهش بنشینی یا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی شب قدر اومده اما شب قدر به سر نیومد چرا چشم من نباره ماهم از سفر نیومد چشمو میبندم و توی بین الحرمینه ذکر کربلا هم امشب یا لسارات حسینه بیا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی بیا مهدی.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Sheikh, I won't hold you longer. I apologize I cut you off before the break.
No, not at all.
And you wanted to tell us to share a story, inshallah.
Yes, there was a young man who was from a poor family. He had certain physical problems, and one of them was a cancer was eating it into his body, where after a short period of time he was unable to walk or get up or move much. And there were cancerous cells coming out of his neck and body, therefore he could not eat either.
Yeah.
So it was the last days of his life, basically. What's interesting is what is documented is that he was from a family in Iran of Ahl Sunnah, they were not Shias. Whilst at the hospital, someone told him, you know what, go to Imam alayhi salam in Mashhad, inshallah you get shafa. They went there, and in the hospital there, it said the nurse said to them, you know what, go to Jamkaran.
Yeah.
Which is a mosque that is said to have been built by the order of Imam Zaman. Now they did not know what this mosque was, or probably not think much about Sahaba Zaman himself, but they had nothing to lose, so they went there. I'm not going to give you the full story because it would take too long. After a few days of residing at the mosque, taking his last breaths of air because he was dying, because he could not eat, his body was unmovable. The boy said between sleeping and before and being awake, he does, in that sort of stage where you don't know if you're awake or sleeping. He said he saw a man and a lady. And they came to him. He said, you know what, I couldn't, in that state, I could not be bothered to speak to them.
Yeah.
Because I was sick and people kept coming to me and trying to see what's wrong with me, and I was tired, And he said, I sort of didn't want to speak to them, but they came and they started speaking. He said they started speaking Arabic between each other. And I was speaking with them in Arabic, although I did not know a single word of Arabic. And he said, they were conversing with each other, and the lady said that I'm Fatima al-Zahra. The reason I'm here is because your mother has asked me as a mother to assist you. And this is my son, Imam Mahdi alayhi salam. And I've asked him to give you shafa. And he says, we spoke. He said, I don't remember what we spoke about. But he said, I remember speaking Arabic and not realizing that I don't speak a word of Arabic. One of the signs of our Imam is that he speaks with people and everyone understands him.
Mm-hmm.
In some hadith he speaks different languages, in some hadith it says that he speaks Arabic, but everyone understands the language that he speaks. In any case, after they went away, the boy was walking. And when they asked the doctors to come and check, they could not find any signs of the cancer that had remained. And he could eat and he could drink, and he did not need the walking sticks to get up. And this is something that happened, a few years ago. It's not a long time ago. And there's documents available. And for people that believe, they don't need the documents.
Yep.
For those that don't believe, if they get 1,000 books of documents, they will not believe.
Definitely.
But in any case, my point is that the miracles of Sahaba Zaman are not to do with just akhirah. This time, if you have belief, you have a connection, you can have as many miracles as you want. It's because people like me have blackened their souls and blackened their hearts that they cannot speak to Imam Zaman. And if they speak to Imam Zaman, they don't feel that he's in front of them, they cannot feel him. If you truly make yourself changed and a different person, slowly you will feel his presence all around you. This beautiful protection from everywhere, no one can hurt you. Who is the biggest power in the world when you have Sahaba Zaman with you?
Definitely.
Who can hurt you? People can say things behind your back, people can say things in front of you, people can cheat you, people can steal from you, people can do injustices down to you. But if you feel that you have this protection of this man behind you, none of it matters.
Definitely.
Because if this man is happy with you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is happy. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is happy with you, Yawm al-Qiyamah, you have nothing to worry about. And before you know it, you're out of this world anyway.
Definitely.
Regardless of how long we think we're going to be here, our lives are very, very, very short compared to eternity.
However, Sheikh, unfortunately, people have taken this beauty as an advantage to themselves. So we realize, for example, and even if we go on YouTube right now and we click Imam Mahdi, the first thing we're going to see is many people claiming to be Imam Mahdi and shouting in the mosque, we are the Imam, or we are direct ambassadors to the Imam. And which makes some of the believers have this feeling towards them, the feeling that you just described, and literally give their whole self away to them. So what is it that makes us distinguish, and we can tell that this person is not this person? Because we said that the narrations, the signs, of reappearance are either true or not true. And
see, it's very simple. The Imam, when he comes, will have miracles. If anybody claims to be the Imam, ask them some questions that a normal person cannot answer. Ask them, what color hair did your granddad have? What is, I don't know, X, Y, Z question that no one knows apart from you. You will see they can't answer. Ask them difficult, not even difficult, questions about mathematics, physics, unsolved equations, theories, Big Bang Theory. You will see they have nothing. Hence, they don't go very far. These people that claim to be, they've always claimed to be, they don't have many followers. Only very, very few. Because anyone with common sense would want to see some sort of miracle, some sort of proof that they are who they say they are. And you will see that they cannot bring any proof. Whereas the 12th Imam, the true Imam, without him present here, all of us believe in him and he's in our hearts. And there is no way that anyone can take that belief away from us. You see the hadith, plenty in this field, that they come to the Imam alayhi salam and they said, Ya Imam, help me because I'm poor. And the Imam says, go away, you're not poor. And he says, he repeats it 3-4 times. Then Imam says, you have the love of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam, us, in your heart? And he says, yes. He says, would you give that for the entire world? He says, no. He says, see, you're not poor. So truly, if we do have the love of Imam Zaman in our hearts, first of all, we will not be misguided. Misguided is a person who does not have someone to guide them.
Yeah.
Any time that a mu'min makes a wrong choice or is misguided or sins, they're not with the Imam. I guarantee you, I sit here and I swear to you, anyone that's made a mistake, anyone that's sinned or followed a person who's wrong, It's because they were not with the Imam Zaman. If you speak to your Imam every day and you look at your inside yourself, in your conscience, and if it's clear, then you go to the right path. Anytime you don't listen to this, you make the mistake.
Mm.
I mean, if you're young, watch out for your tongue, watch out for lying, watch out with your eyes, do not do haram, watch out for your ears, do not listen to music. If you're slightly older, you know, when you go to with your friends to a club, to a place where you know that shaitan is there, the evil is there, you'll make bad decisions and you'll see those consequences. These are all things that will happen only when you forget your Imam. When, God forbid, you commit acts outside marriage, where, God forbid, you take someone's right and you commit injustices, all these are getting away from the Imam. You stick with the Imam, you will see you will not do anything wrong, you will not go anywhere wrong. And if you do, it's when you move away from that.
Definitely.
It's when that relationship becomes weakened. It's when you don't listen to your conscience. Your conscience is built in to give you alarm clocks, alarm calls, you know, to wake you up.
Yeah.
It's only when you put snooze and put it down, that you go worse and worse and worse. If you listen to it, it becomes sharp. As soon as it rings, you wake up. You can't go to sleep when it's Fajr, because your conscience will not let you sleep. But if you press that snooze button enough times, you will sleep like a baby and you will not even feel sorry the next day. You know, there's a hadith that says, someone came and asked the Imam if he should do an istikhara to go to a particular trip. And the Imam said, it's bad. The man saw that the trip was very profitable, so he went anyway.
Mm.
He went and he came back to him and said, look, I'm back, I'm healthy, and I made lots of profit.
Mm.
So what was the istikhara about? The Imam said, Ya Fulan, in your trip, because you went on this trip, on this day, you missed this prayer. That missing of the prayer is not worth everything that you gain. And the man started to cry, said, you're right. You know, sometimes we see the very small picture as the bigger picture, and we don't see the bigger picture. Definitely. Missing your prayers, missing the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's the bigger picture. Making money, making wealth is not important. It's not what we're here for.
Inshallah, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep us on the belief and believing in the Imam of our time and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to always be conscious of their presence and to firm the love of Ahlul Bayt in our hearts, inshallah. And inshallah, the hadith that will be shown to you will help us in doing so. So do join us after the hadith.
قال الإمام محمد بن علي الباقر عليهما السلام: إذا ظهر القائم يسوي بين الناس حتى لا ترى محتاجا إلى الزكاة.
Imam Muhammad ibn Ali al-Baqir, peace be upon him, has said, when Al-Qa'im rises, wealth will be distributed among the people in such an equitable manner that not a single person will be seen in need of zakat.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Sheikh, now we have 5 minutes left, and at the start of this episode you said that there was a narration that you wanted to share with us today, inshallah.
There were many narrations with regards to Akhir al-Zaman, but one that I have in my mind is the narration from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It seems that it says, سيأتي زمان على أمتي مساجدهم عامرة وقلوبهم خالية من الهدى. The mosques, or their mosques, are very beautiful from the outside, but their hearts are empty of guidance. It says their bodies will face Qibla, their hearts will face the opposite way. It says their Qibla will be the women. It says the women and the men will look the same. You will not be able to tell the women from men. It says in Akhir al-Zaman the women will go out whilst the men stay at home. It says in Akhir al-Zaman the women will be covered but yet naked. So the very tight clothing that we see today, for example. سيأتي زمان على أمتي دينهم دنانيرهم. The religion is their money, their wealth. And there's many of this this type of hadith, such as the one which says they will remember 5 but they will forget 5, and the 5 is all to do with dunya, and the other 5 they will forget is to do with the akhirah. At the end of this hadith, he says, one of the Ansar, one of the people with the Prophet says, Ya Rasulullah, hal ha'ula ya'budun al-asnam. These people that you talk about, are these people idol worshippers? Do they worship idols? And the reply of the Prophet, it seems, it says, Na'am, yes. This is his ummah, this is us he's talking about. كل درهم لهم صنم. Each dirham, each bit of gold or silver, for them is an idol. They worship their own money. And truly we see that in our society that has happened. That people worship money. If someone has money, they get respect, status. The hadith says if you respect someone because of their wealth, half your deen is gone, half your iman is gone. How many times in the majlis see someone is a big given thing, and someone pious, religious comes, maybe with humble clothing, and no one looks at them, no one cares. Instead of the things that we should be respecting and looking as our leaders in have been the other way, turned upside down. The qualities of being humble, being pious, telling the truth no matter what. Nowadays if someone tells the truth no matter what, they say, do you have no understanding, no common sense? Why are you telling the truth all the time? If someone finds something and he gives it back to the owner, everyone will say, why don't you just take it yourself? And this is the alamat of akhir zaman, that when someone does something good, everyone else will be amazed, because they're so used to doing wrong. When someone does something correct, they will look at them as someone that maybe has mental issues,
Definitely. And Sheikhna, just in the 1.5 minutes that we have left, can I just ask you, because we mentioned how these people are going to be people who are going to see their money as idols, inshallah, how can we keep ourselves, just a reflection to us, away from being these kind of people?
So the things that you should remember is that we said that people forget in Akhir Zaman is Akhirah, the qabr, the grave. You see, it's mustahab for every mu'min and mu'minah to have kafan, the white cloth that they bury in, and to look at it daily. How many of us have this kafan ready, and how many of us look at it daily? If you're young, you think, it's another 100 years. If you're old, you think, I've got time yet, maybe tomorrow I'll do it. But how many of us look at this kafan and say, no, this is the clothing that I'll take with me? All these things that I'm looking to collect and do, you want to be the managing director, you have a bank account that has X amount of zeros in front of it. You're taking this piece of cloth with you, nothing else. Everything else you accumulate is something that you have to answer for. You have 10 houses, it's 10 houses you have to answer for. You have 10 million in the bank, it's 10 million you have to answer for. The less you have, the easier it is to answer. And as far as your children are concerned, only if your children are good, they will be good for you in the akhirah. Otherwise, they will cause you punishment. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the blessing of true iman, inshallah, and the happiness of our 12th Imam with our deeds, our actions, and our words, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And may Allah hasten the reappearance of our 12th Imam, inshallah.
Ya Allah, and I think without the need for me to say anything after that, with that dua, inshallah, we do end this episode. Make sure you join us next week, same time on Friday. Until then, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا يسرا ودليلا وأينا حتى تسكنه أرضك فتمتعه